review and see what else is happening. But that Raw after Mania didn't really help us with our, our fix of WWE. But I completely understand what you're saying about the Hangover. Yes, I get it.
So how much wrestling have you been consuming since WrestleMania?
I slowed down a little because I did try to take in as much as I could with Fight TV and all the GCW offerings they had that weekend. So I kind of slowed down. Of course, I'm keeping up with my NXT and my AEW, but WWE I kind of like put it on the back burner. I haven't really watched a full SmackDown or Raw since WrestleMania. I mean, I pretty much know what's going on right now. I'll just wait.
Yeah, and I'm sure the hype will build up again soon with SummerSlam being in your home city. You are Detroit, and they're bringing right. SummerSlam to Detroit at Ford Field. Question: will we be going to Sid Gold's request room on the Friday night?
Of course, you know how popular that place has become since you discovered a place I didn't know about in my own city. Thank you for that. And it's one of the coolest karaoke spots I've ever known about. But I hope that guy on the piano is there too when we go, because we got to go back and shut that place down again.
He's got to be that's our plan for the Friday. We found this really cool. We were looking for karaoke when we went for Blood and Guts, and we found this cool lounge cabaret style piano bar with a beautiful classic round bar in the middle, and then you go to the back room where you've got this big grand piano that you can sit around and sort of lounge tables and everything. And this guy does karaoke on the piano, so you can pick pretty much any song. If he can find the sheet music for it, he'll play it and you sing along. And I think, what was it? I think I did some a piano acoustic version of Linkin Park in the end.
Yeah, you did in the end.
You did what? Gnarls Barkley, I think.
Yeah, I did Crazy about Gnarls Barkley. Crazy. And I can't remember what Braden did.
Braden did Hotline Bling, I think.
Right. It's amazing that guy can play that on the piano, right?
Yeah. So I'm definitely kind of thinking of some songs. I think the thing is definitely I like taking, something that wouldn't classically be played on a piano and trying to do your version, put your own stamp on it. So I'm pretty excited, and I'm sure a Friday night might be a little bit more wild than the Tuesday or Wednesday that we went for.
But
yeah, I'm also hoping to check out. I missed out on my Detroit deep dish when I last went because everything was closed. So I'm hoping to get onto Buddy's this time as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed you didn't really get a real feel of Detroit style pizza. Once again, named best pizza in the world, best pizza city in the world, 2 years in a row, Detroit.
Really?
Yeah, eat it in New York.
Okay.
I really hope you get to go to Buddy's, and because Buddy's is one of my favorite pizza spots here. Any one of them, any location in Michigan is pretty good with the pizza. But it's a lot of other places. It's a place called Pizza Cat. You should really try when you're here. I got to send you another list of places to go.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to go back because I think you like Tuesdays, Wednesdays tend to be the quietest days in a city. So being there on a Friday, Saturday this time, I think I'm actually going to be able to check out a few more cool spots, which I'm looking forward to. And looking forward to SummerSlam, first of 2 stadium shows we'll be going to this year, with Wembley coming around the corner as well, which we'll definitely get some of your thoughts on. I just realized that I haven't plugged my laptop in, so I don't want this stream to cut out, but I think this would be a perfect opportunity for you to tell the listeners exactly what Wattup Doe is. I see you're wearing your co-host's t-shirt right now.
Always important.
But you are dropping a new episode of Wattup Doe on this feed next week. And so tell us, kind of give a little description of what this show is and what you will be talking about next week.
So yeah, Wattup Doe is just basically a show with 2 hip-hop heads, me and John Cino. Everybody knows Cino. We just sit down and shoot the shit about hip-hop and pop culture, movies we've seen, some wrestling, but we keep a small portion of wrestling in there, but we usually try to collate our hip-hop and movies into the wrestling all in one. And we just sit there and kick it, man. Everybody says they like our our vibe from the shows we did previously. So yeah, it's just this is the hang with me and John Cena kicking it about some good music and good wrestling and good movies.
And that's awesome. I've loved your show. It really does feel like just a hangout, you know. I love that episode you did with what's his name, Mouse? Is it Ceno's friend?
Yeah, Ceno's buddy. Yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah,
great show. Shout out Mouse.
I definitely want to hear more guests on your show, but I've been really enjoying it. It's a great addition to our network and kind of doing what we've been wanting to do and sort of expand and be able to talk about like more pop culture stuff. And there's stuff that's definitely more your wheelhouse than kind of Braden and ours. So having you guys being able to talk about it is awesome, and also just give fresh takes. If you're kind of tired of sort of Braden and my opinion on stuff, it's nice getting fresh voices and opinions, and both you and Ceno are very articulate. So we absolutely, when we were talking about starting Poisonrana, you two were people we definitely wanted to get involved, because I mean, we really got to know you best during the pandemic when we were having you on for watch-alongs and post shows and all that. So we knew you'd be very welcome to our network. And you said
thank you for the opportunity. I don't think I ever thanked you on air, but thank you for that, man. Like I said, I always say this when I get a chance to do this podcast with you. You guys inspired me to start my podcast journey. So whenever I got a chance to thank you guys, I will.
You're very welcome. Thank you for doing this for us as well.
Oh yeah.
But you said you're going to be doing a mock draft with Ceno this week, right?
Absolutely. The Raw is, I think the draft starts this week with WWE, right?
Starts on SmackDown, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So right after SmackDown, you can get another draft of me and Ceno. I don't know what side. Am I going to have SmackDown? He's going to have Raw, but we're going to do a draft, and you guys, I would love for you guys to tune in and tell us how good or bad we're doing. Hopefully I can book it better than Shawn and Triple H.
Yeah. What are you looking for from this draft? What kind of do you want to see? I did see sort of a report out there last week that maybe this is like going to be sort of more of the official start of Triple H's reign, as now he is still using the rosters as they were under Vince when he was head of creative. So we could see a bit more of a shuffle than usual. I'm hoping we are, because I think the last few drafts have been pretty, it's just, move this guy across, but I'd love to see more of a shuffling of the deck and, featuring some of your NXT call-ups, like a Gargano or someone. It's now time to, like, I know he's still a little hurt right now, but being able to put a bit more focus before certain guys.
I would like to see the NXT call-ups done right for a change. We haven't had a draft with Triple H input at all. So I would like, I'm not sure about Breaker. I'm pretty sure he has to wrap up that feud he has going on down there. I would like for him to be drafted, but I'm not 100% on him being drafted. I would like Dijak to be drafted somewhere, Apollo Crews to be drafted somewhere, and these guys actually utilize in the position that they can actually stride and be good, because Dijak and Crews showed this week that they can go with anybody on that roster, So I would love for Dijak to come on SmackDown and just be a monster somewhere. We need more monsters in wrestling anyway, so let's go Dijak.
Yeah, this ain't the gimmick though for him.
No.
It's very two-dimensional. Not like I liked their match. I really liked their match on Tuesday, but also I'm like, why am I watching Apollo Crews and Dijak in 2023 on the developmental show against each other? Like
Dijak is the big boss Dijak for some reason.
It's different having those guys down there to like help your like younger talent, but like in a feud against each other, you're like, come on, who is this serving really? Apart from just, having a good match, which they did. I want to see a few call-ups. That's the main thing I'm excited for. We're normally used to them happening the Raw after Mania, and they held off. They didn't do any call-ups, I believe, this year. So I imagine it's going to be a big factor of this draft. But I want to see these call-ups being more than just we've seen with Triple H so far, which is bringing a face and debuting them for that debut pop and then not really having anything planned, you know? If you are debuting a Bron Breakker, like if you're keeping him in this heel role, because we've seen people do double duty before, kind of finish off their NXT programs whilst being on a Raw or a SmackDown. If you're bringing him up in the heel role that he's portraying right now in NXT, or even as a babyface, I wonder if him being the one to take down Gunther would be, you know, I'm loving this reign. I'm loving Gunther, and I definitely, I'm a Bron Breakker fan, but I think if you want to like cement someone, be like this is the guy, having him just, you know, Goldberg Lesnar at Survivor Series kind of style, just blindside Gunther, destroy him, and win that title, could make a statement. I'm not saying necessarily that, but that's the kind of impacts I want to see these people having. I think a Grayson Waller is ready. Again, once he's wrapped up this, he's got the title match on this Tuesday on Spring Breakin'. I think that's probably his farewell from NXT, because we've seen him go for the title a few times. I don't know what more there is for him to do unless they are putting the strap on him. And I think he's just ready to go up.
Yeah, I was saying on I think the last Wattup Doe, more talk shows in wrestling, and I can see Grayson Waller effect on live TV every Monday or Friday night, and it's going to go over. He's like he said this week, he didn't need the belt. He doesn't need the belt at all. I mean, he's a good character, and he's really playing that terrible, awful blogger that you hate so much on YouTube. So I really dig Waller going up. I can do that. Yeah.
He feels fresh and current. I think he does feel very like just down to the way he dresses, the way his chat show is different, using the whole like Instagram Live and that. I love when because we'll be watching it on NXT and you see him go to it on Instagram Live, and then it's a commercial break and you just log on and you can see everything going on at that time. I think it's great, and I think he's completely ready at this point. I would like to see an Ilya Dragunov go up as well, kind of similar to what I said with Breakker. Like, you know that feud works, him and Gunther, and if anything's going to put someone over right away, even in loss, Ilya challenging Gunther on SmackDown, like, would be something I'd love to see. I think Ilya is someone really interesting because he's very different from the rest of crop of people there. And we've seen the case with some people where they really tone you down, or you see like a Kevin Owens where they embrace the differences, or again, a Gunther where they've embraced exactly what makes him special. I think if they do that with Ilya, I think he could be a big deal and really, really change the quality of wrestling we see on Mondays and Fridays.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dragunov too. Any ladies you think should make the leap?
I think I mean, I think the women on the main roster, you've just got this. It's two tiers, right? You've got your top tier, which are your Charlotte's, Becky's, Bianca's, Bailey's, and then everyone else is down here. I'll put Rhea Ripley up there as well, obviously. But then you've got everyone else is your Liv Morgans, your Dakota Kai's, your Tegan Knox, and they're so far below where you don't buy them. And I know sometimes a Liv gets a little bit of steam, but it's never to the level of those other women. So I think this is an opportunity to have a bit of a fresh start. Again, don't have them just be 50-50 booking. Have someone come in and be strong. Like, come on, like, be a challenger out the gate. Roxanne, I imagine, is moving up soon. I think she's someone they want to probably capitalize on her youth, as that's a big selling point of her. And she's so smooth and ready in ring. The fact that they stripped her of the title, well, didn't strip her, but, you know, she didn't really have much of a title reign. I can see Roxanne Perez going up. On the heel side, because we probably need some heel women as well. I'm trying to think who you got in NXT.
I think that on the heel side, a lot of those NXT ladies still need a little bit time to cook down there. Like your Tiffany Stratton, like she needs a little bit more time to cook down
I
there,
agree.
before she comes up. It's not that many heels when I think about it in the NXT right now, right? Like Gigi
No,
Dolan probably can come up, but what's JC Jane, or is that her
JC
partner?
Jane. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think she's ready either. So I think the heels need to cook a little bit longer. But most of the face ladies down in NXT can come up.
it,
A
it
lot of them.
it's one of the things I always find unfortunate with NXT is when you have your your tag teams, you want to do the breakup so you can tell that story and have the big
Yeah,
singles feud in NXT, but also you then go, well, a Gigi and JC would do so much better as a tag team on the main roster, at least to start with. So then you're telling that whole breakup story in NXT, and then eventually we'll probably just put them back together. Because I see them working better like that on the main roster. I think Kaden and Katana are more than ready to move up, and I would like to see some actual tag teams.
yeah, yeah. They're hurting in that tag team department, so those girls can definitely move up, and move right into that because who has the belts now? Liv and Raquel.
Liv and Raquel.
Yeah, they can definitely go one on one with the party girls right now. you know.
And what about men's tag teams? I think I can't wait to see the Creed brothers on the main roster, but I also wonder if they, could do more in NXT and just be there to really help lead this tag division. Because I do enjoy the tag wrestling in NXT, but you remove the Creeds from there, that's a big part missing. And unless you have some big plans for them on the main roster, I'd kind of have them chill in NXT for a little longer.
You think the belts are on Sami and KO? If you want to heat up some young tag teams right now, cool, but nobody's going to take those belts off of them that aren't named Uso. So I think I would only if their gimmick was different. If GYV was still the same, I would love to see the whole SmackDown crowd those shoes off. They hate Gibson, but things are different right now. So I don't know how those guys are going to do with their contract or whatever. But I would love to see them stay and GYV it up on the main roster.
Yeah,
That's just
I mean, yeah, they in their original gimmick would work great. I think they have slowly been shedding the whole schism stuff, but
yeah,
Sino mentions who we kind of forgot about, Zoe Stark, who I think has been really solid in ring and definitely come more into her own since turning heel. So that's
yeah.
definitely a
You
heel.
female Jerry Lynn, as I call her.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You could totally move her up. Frank brings up that the Witches, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, could drop their titles pretty quick and move up. That's certainly a gimmick I see kind of working on the main roster.
Yeah,
And again, they're more than ready. Frank also brings up Pretty Deadly could be good. Could be good fodder for heels on SmackDown or Raw. I don't think they need much more time in NXT after this D'Angelo blow off this week. Yeah, they're kind of
yeah.
similar to Grayson Waller to me, where I don't see them getting the title again at this point. So, and they are ready, both promo gimmick and their wrestling's fine enough to carry on the main roster.
It depends on where they land because I hate for Pretty Deadly to run into Masay and the
Oh
rest of
yeah.
those max male models in the back, and Otis. So that'd be nice for those guys to interact. So yeah,
Well,
send Pretty Deadly
you
up.
got a whole war game stable then, haven't you?
Ah,
You've
a whole
got
model war game
Yeah,
stable.
you've got Marseille, you've got Mansoir, Otis, and
Otis and Pretty
then
Deadly.
what would be Elton? Would it be and Kit Wilson? I don't know.
They can just keep their names.
Yeah,
They
they're
already
pretty
dress.
ridiculous already.
Yeah, they dress kind of ridiculous already. So yeah, we can just do that.
Well, we've got a whole list of topics here to talk about. Do join Sino and B with their draft on Friday on this very feed. Who are you? Would you rather be leading SmackDown or Raw?
I would like to create the new SmackDown 6, so I think I'm gonna go with the blue brand.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we seem to talk about this guy every week on this show, but we're starting with CM Punk. It seems like he's coming back. Seems like it's pretty much confirmed at this point. And the rumored Saturday show looks to be debuting June 17th at the United Center in, surprise, surprise, Chicago, Illinois. It looks like we're going to have a bit of a potentially a roster split, maybe, with CM Punk kind of being the figurehead of AEW Saturday Collision, with the Elite for now being more on Wednesday. Yeah, well, what do you make of all this? We've got Chicago back-to-back. It's the week before Forbidden Door, hopefully setting up a match for Punk here in Toronto. But yeah.
Not sure how I feel about the roster split, because the roster is already kind of split between people who usually appear on Rampage and people who appear on Dynamite predominantly. So I'm not sure about that, but I like it. Let's get more people in the ring. Let's get more ring time, because a lot of those girls, a lot of those guys need way more ring time so they can get better and put on better matches with this company and make them stride. But CM Punk being back, now, are we going to split the roster between people who approve of this and people who don't? Because he caused a lot of controversy. I just don't want their backstage to, take the hit because he's back, That's my main concern, because everybody talks about how good it is right now, but I don't want them to lose that morale because CM Punk's back. This is how I feel about it. I like Punk, don't get me wrong. I know they need them. I need to hear that in living color blasting at Wembley, but I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it's, as far as the split goes, I don't think you need to do a defined roster on each thing. But
yeah,
if you do have, this is going to be more of a Dynamite level show, I believe. I think it's live. It's going live and it's 2 hours. So it's definitely going to be a bigger show than Rampage, being primetime Saturday night. But I don't see, you can keep your rosters split, but you don't necessarily have to have it every Saturday it's Punk and every Wednesday it's the Elite. You can mix and match. You can book the Elite for a Saturday and Punk for a Wednesday, maybe. And I think with your rest of the roster, they can float around. And as you said, you're used to seeing some people on Rampage and things like that. By the looks of it, Punk is probably going to be entering a feud with Jericho to start with.
Yeah.
So likely going to be JAS and Punk on Saturdays, and the Elite and BCC on Wednesdays. That Jericho feud does absolutely nothing for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, for him to come back, Jericho. I don't know. I would like to see Jericho finish up with Cole first, but I don't know about Punk right now. I don't think that's the feud you want to go in with either.
It's also, what are they going to ignore everything that's happened? Like, we've all seen the reports. We've all seen Jericho calling CM Punk a cancer. And if you're working together, I would assume you would bring that up in the feud, in the promos. And we know how both are like to tread the line of reality in their promos. But bringing CM Punk back in Chicago, that's telling me he's coming back as a babyface. Jericho is firmly in this heel role. How much does it work having a feud with Jericho kind of essentially defending AEW against CM Punk, which is the logical story you tell? And if you don't tell that story, it's then we're all going, sorry, the elephant in the room here. Like, are we just going to go Matt Menard and Jeff Parker trying to recruit Punk to the fucking sports entertainment group? Like, it's if they're going that route, we're going to be watching this being like, there's massive things we're just like completely glossing over here. So the dynamic feels really strange to start with. Like, it sounds like the Elite just aren't ready, don't want to do anything with Punk at this point. I hope down the line that changes, because for me, I'd say you bring him in as a heel. Sure, there's going to be fans cheering him and stuff. But hopefully, if we've made this agreement, he's bringing back, we should be able to move on past all this and, you know, come in as a heel against your Hangman Page, your Elite, that kind of thing. But it still looks like everything is like really dirty there, and people haven't made up.
Yeah.
People haven't apologized, and therefore we're just, well, let's just create a new show. We need Punk for Wembley. So let's just ignore all the issues because they're not going to get resolved and just move on. It's going to be really interesting. And obviously they are going to cross paths. They're going to be in the arenas at pay-per-views and stuff. Another report out there was saying that, because people said Punk hasn't apologized for he's apologized for kind of the words he said in the press conference, but hasn't apologized for the brawl, I believe. But it's also come out that he's been told not to talk to the Elite, which that kind of thing makes you think that there's probably some legal or HR stuff still going on, and therefore that's why these parties actually can't maybe legally be on the same show in the same building and all that stuff right now. But
which is, I don't understand. I think they're reasonable guys. They can just like sit there and have a talk about things. They'll be okay. You know, I don't think it's something that won't be resolved in time. You know,
I think Meltzer kind of brought up a point about, you know, sort of Punk side and FTR and that going, oh, well, we'd be willing to work with these guys. And I can see it from the other side. It's like, oh, the guy that punched me in the face is willing to work with me. Cool, good for him. Well, like, maybe he should fucking say sorry to me first, and then I'll think about, you know, putting my body on the line and putting my body in the trust of this guy. Like, I do see it. Like, obviously, as a fan, it's just, guys, we all work with someone we don't like, and we fucking do it. And you're getting paid more than I am to do it. So just, you know, do it.
Just do it.
But it's going to be very interesting to see over the next few months with Punk. And it's still a ways away. It's not like he's returning in 2 weeks. It's, you know, it's June, towards the end of June that this is all happening. So I'm sure we're going to have lots more to talk about still with Punk and Collision. It also just sucks. I don't have time for another 2-hour show, dude. I don't know about you.
And Saturday is a rough night for a regular wrestling program.
Yeah.
That's rough. They're going to run into POEs. They're going to run into basketball. They're going to run into any major sport that's going on. Nobody's going to watch wrestling Saturday night in the summertime, dude. More power to them for trying, but
I will say my counter to that is there's something on every night of the week. And a lot of wrestling fans aren't sports fans, you know? I'm always going to pick a wrestling show over like a basketball game or whatever, unless it's, you know, Raptors in the playoffs or something like that. Like, there are people out there that don't watch sport, and there's sport every night of the week. So you can't create a new day, you know? It's got to go somewhere. But for me, it's more so it's a Saturday night. That's when, like, a lot of people go out, or for me, I work in a bar. So just dreading, it's like, okay, how am I, like, getting home every week and watching this show before recording Poisonrana on a Sunday? That's where I'm at. Yeah. So
that's going to be rough. Yeah,
so it's a shame because it does sound like it's going to be a big deal, this show. It's going to be more of a Dynamite than a Rampage. And yeah, it's just finding the time to watch all this stuff. But it's good from, like, the partnership with Warner Brothers Discovery, that they clearly have a lot of faith in this product, that they're putting on more and more hours of TV every week.
Mm-hmm. Well, more power to TK for trying, though.
So let's get into Dynamite this week. We started with a bit of a polarizing segment between 3 of the 4 pillars, which set up we're having a bit of a tournament to determine MJF's opponent at Double or Nothing. Darby Allin gets a bye for reasons, so we were main eventing with Jungle Boy versus Sammy Guevara for the first time, which MJF kind of screwed Jungle Boy out of. after paying off Sammy Guevara, saying, "Look, I'm going to get you to the final, so you can face me. It will be your first like pay-per-view main event, and then you can lay down for me." So, but we started with this promo segment, which I've seen a lot of negativity towards, and I'm kind of one of those people. B, what did you make of this?
It was it's kind of frustrating watching them like force a microphone into Darby Allin's hand. I'm not gonna say they force it in his hand. Maybe he wants to talk, but he's one of those characters who doesn't need to say a word. Like, and to see him like try to get through these promos, and then he's got to go to work against MJF in the promo battle. It's like, dude, he's so much cooler when he doesn't say anything. And it's hard to watch, man. I like Darby so much. He's out of the 4 pillars. I think he's my favorite. But I don't think he needs to have a microphone in his hand anymore. Jungle Boys, he's getting better. I think needs to be trying his promos on Rampage or something. But it's tough when they have to go against MJF with the stick, man. It's the hardest thing to do. You can't sharpen your sword against the master, it's tough. So that promo was really weird to watch. And Sammy Guevara, I'm not even sure what to make of him anymore. Most of the things everybody was saying about him is kind of true. He's just been tailing on to Jericho this whole time. So his arguments toward everybody else, like, yeah, I did all this, like, Sammy, we get it, but you've been piggybacking off of Jericho for
Since
2
day
years
one.
now. Yeah, so it's like it's a little rough. That promo just didn't do anything for me. It didn't help anybody in that ring. Then MJF comes down and does the same thing. I like MJF, all right? He makes me a fan sometimes. But I'm just tired of him dictating what his opponents are going to do. I can't have him come down and say, "Oh, you're going to face this guy before you face me." He did the exact same thing he's been doing for his last 3 or 4 feuds. He just did it in the tournament form.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many times are we going to see this? I'm pretty sure you can come up with more interesting ways to get those guys to face off without MJF dictating what's going on. I just hope they find another direction toward his next opponent. But I don't think this tournament's going to heat me up for the next pay-per-view, though. How you feel about that, Davey?
Yeah, I'd start off by I kind of disagree with Darby. I've thought he's come across the best in these, like, MJF aside, obviously, because I think his style is different, and I do think there's it's so different in a way that it does kind of captivate me. I don't think this was as strong as his last one. I think all of them were stronger in the first kind of 4 pillars promo thing. The other 2 I think are weak. It's Jack Perry is always relying, and Sami as well, just relying on a line like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit." Like it's easy. I don't get all of this like stuff. All of them are like, "Oh, you were handpicked. You know." It's all these like, I don't care. I don't care if someone was picked by Tony Khan to have better booked matches or whatever. Like, that doesn't interest me. And I think like the content of Guevara and Jungle Boy's stuff has been pretty weak. What Jungle Boy says, Darby Boy's antisocial and rude. It's like, come on, dude, get some better lines, especially when you're gonna have MJF just eviscerate all of you. And I think I personally just want the Darby Allin MJF singles match, but I do think the way you had kind of the dodgy finish at the end there, we're just building to the 4-way anyway, and therefore this TV tournament is kind of pointless. I kind of see through it, and it just feels lazy, really. And we've had these the idea of the 4 pillars for a while, but then it's just suddenly happening. But it's probably happening at the time when Sami's been at his absolute coldest, which makes it less interesting. Like, at this point for me, Orange Cassidy's the 4th pillar, but he's kind of doing his own thing. Sami's stock really dropped over the last 18 months.
How the hell does Sami even be in championship contention? Because what has he done since I'm not sure, you know?
No. Yeah, so I can't say like the match was good in the main event. Like Jungle Boy and Sami obviously both do some pretty crazy stuff and work really nicely together. I think the four-way will also be pretty good, but as like I don't get invested in multi-man matches as much. It takes a lot for me to get really into like, okay, we're doing a triple threat match here, we're doing a four-way here. And I just think it's stronger to do the singles. I think you also we know MJF isn't dropping the title here. This really feels like okay, first big pay-per-view defense. Sorry, it's second. I guess he had the Danielson one, didn't he? But
Yeah.
it's a real one to like just get you over Double or Nothing until we move to the bigger matches later in the year, where you might actually buy MJF could drop it. I don't see any of these guys beating MJF at this point.
No way.
Darby is the one most likely to do it at some point. But is this more of a like a backdrop to set up Sting MJF at Wembley?
They could have just had MJF beat Sting down and set up MJF and Darby and let Sami and Jack Perry feud until then. You know, that'd have been a better way for this pay-per-view to go. I'd rather just see that, you know?
Yeah, like that's kind of how I see it. I see maybe MJF with Sting in Darby's corner and MJF kind of bloodying him up during the match at Double or Nothing, which sets up for like a retirement match, perhaps at Wembley, which would be pretty cool.
MJF retires Sting at Wembley. I could dig it. I could dig
it. Yeah. Well, we did have a championship change hands. The hot potato, that is the AEW TNT Championship. Just weeks after Powerhouse Hobbs won the title, you now have Wardlow joining forces with Armed Anderson to recapture the TNT Championship for the third time?
Is it?
It's third time, and none of them have been memorable so far.
3 times he's had that belt?
Yeah.
That belt hasn't meant anything since Cody left.
Nope.
It hasn't mean a damn thing. You know what? They heated up Hobbs for 3 or 4 weeks with those vignettes?
Yeah.
You know? And just to slap him with QT was a slap in my face. QTV is awful. Hobbs doesn't need QT Marshall. I'm not sure why would you take the belt off him already. I know you want to heat up Wardlow, but it makes the belt useless when you just keep bouncing it around. He's a 3-time champion. He didn't need the belt, obviously. So I'm sorry, man. Hobbs is too good for this kind of thing. Then now he's going to go back to Rampage now. Now I'm not going to see his matches anymore because I don't watch Rampage. So it's just, where do you value your big guys? You know what I'm saying? Hobbs is one of your only monsters, and he just keeps getting, smacked down by these guys. I mean, not saying that Wardlow's a small guy, but come on. I mean, he just won the only belt that I can see him being in contention for in any time soon. And now he doesn't have it anymore. So it's like, what do we do with him now? What do you do with Hobbs now?
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, I think you've pulled Hobbs away from Taz as a manager to go with someone just less cool. Like Taz is still like, I like Taz, I enjoy it. I think Team Taz had its time, but once that ended, these guys shouldn't be then just pairing off with another manager or whatever. And it's like this title means nothing now at this point. We've seen in WWE over the last year how they have rehabbed these titles. Like the IC title means more than it ever has. Having just the one championship on Roman, that means more. The tag titles mean more. Like they've done a pretty good job over the last year or so to like rehab those titles.
You can headline with the Intercontinental belt right now.
You can. Whereas now it's like that international title, which kind of everyone laughed at when it first came around. Orange has made that mean something with his regular title defenses and putting on pretty good matches week after week. Whereas like this, since like so Cody won the title and then was sick for like a week, so vacated it in very Cody fashion. So you had an interim title, which Sami won. They had the ladder match, and Sami won that. And then what? Sami dropped it to Scorpio Sky, I think, who then dropped it back to Sami, who then did it go back to Scorpio Sky, then to Wardlow, then Wardlow to Joe, then Joe to Darby, then Darby to Joe, then Joe back to Wardlow, then Wardlow to Hobbs, and now Hobbs back to Wardlow. This is in the space of, Cody's WWE career so far. Like, all that's happened. And it just makes this belt mean nothing. And I think for me, seeing this Wednesday was like, okay, who are we really trying to put our stock behind here? Because Wardlow's been a project since very, very early AEW days. He didn't wrestle a whole lot. They protected him quite well. He had all the Inner Circle and Pinnacle stuff leading to that MJF feud, which was great until after the match because the whole MJF walking out thing. And I think they've been trying to find a way to like capture that magic with Wardlow again, and putting him with Arn I don't think is a bad move at all. I think Arn Anderson's a great mouthpiece and
absolutely
and is probably going to help Wardlow, but it just screams, okay, let's put our focus on Wardlow, and that's our project now. And it's it's just that, hot potatoing of the title.
But
and
yet and still, he didn't need the belt. If you're going to put him with Arn, that's his belt right now.
Yeah.
You don't need the belt on Wardlow. You could have had him chase Hobbs for another 3 weeks.
Like, you could have had the Arn partnership after Hobbs. Like, keep this title on Hobbs. Yeah. Have QT if you need him to. Screw Wardlow again, and then Wardlow's like, I really need to get someone now. But he's lost the match. He can't challenge for that title again as long as Hobbs is holding it. And now you've got him looking for something else while Arn is his manager. But yeah, I feel bad for Hobbs because I think there's a lot of upside with this guy. Like, his wrestling's pretty great. He looks great. He's, a person of color on this roster, which, I mean, look at that Wembley poster, dude. Like, it's
Jesus Christ.
They're crying out for a Hobbs. Scorpio Sky's nowhere to be seen for months now, because this TNT title destroyed him as well, I guess. Yep. Hobbs is someone you should be putting a lot of stock behind.
It's it's like they're not sure. I'm not even sure how much like their how many like people of color they have on their development team or putting in any input with the characters, but they're not sure what to do with most of them. They got a lot of black people and every color on this roster, but they're not sure what to do with a lot of them. Jade just fights anybody, and she's been holding on to that belt, and she's making the TBS belt look somewhat credible, but her defenses mean nothing, and she's doing it on Rampage all the time.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, sorry, finish.
No problem. But my thing is, like, it's just they don't know what to do with these guys.
Yeah.
They didn't know how to book Hobbs. Hobbs doesn't need that much direction. He looks scary.
Yeah.
Just book him accordingly.
He doesn't need a little white dude in a bowling shirt. Like, look at him. Like, he can handle his own
business. At least
business.
Tazman will look like a badass. Yeah. He's Taz,
Yeah, even with Jade, I really like Jade. I think she's just got that star presence and everything.
Yeah.
But she's in her own universe. So all the people she's feuding with most are like unsigned or on that kind of like per deal contract. Like, she's gonna win. Okay, they've got her in this thing with Taya Valkyrie, but it's happening on Rampage, so no one's really seeing it. And Jade just hasn't. It feels like Cody was, where he's just on his own island. She hasn't interacted with any of your like actual main AEW stars at all.
Those girls don't even want that belt. They don't even look at it twice.
And therefore, it's like, although she's had this long reign with the title, it's not like it's been meaningful title defenses. So it does feel just like a prop at this point.
Pretty much.
So yeah, I definitely want to see more Jade on Dynamite because I don't watch Rampage. But there was something that happened on Rampage this week, which was we've had the return of Jeff Hardy and he cut a bit of a promo here, and I've got the quote here. He says, "It's time for me to retire." What? No, Jeff, retire? Retire from screwing up. I'm here in AEW to end my career on an extremely high note instead of a depressing low. I love each and every one of you. We'll see, and time will tell. The future's waiting for us to prevail.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like, I hope this is all true. Like, I obviously want to see this guy succeed, and addiction fucking sucks. But
yeah,
also, like, I can't condone, like, yeah, okay, you have your problems, but putting others' lives at risk, going behind a car, like, his breath kind of stank of diesel, essentially. That's how much alcohol he was drinking when he got behind the wheel. It's happened over and over again. Like, I wish the guy well. I hope this is it, but I feel like I've heard this before.
Yeah, I really do hope Jeff is okay though, man. If he needs to get in the ring, to keep it going, why not? If him retiring or like working toward this retirement match, whenever he's gonna have it, if that's gonna help him, stay on the right track, let's do it because everybody loves Jeff Hardy. I don't want to see this guy hurt himself or anyone else. So whatever.
Yeah, and it looks like they're kind of holding off him actually. What's he doing this compound match, right? Is that what's happening?
I think that.
So it's what him, Matt, Isaiah, Cassidy, and Hook taking on the Firm in some kind of like Ultimate Deletion compound style match. So it's going to be a cinema match, and which you can kind of protect Jeff a bit, hopefully. Like, we don't need to see him having those derby matches anymore,
No.
No. And that is kind of the thing with me. Like, even though his AEW run's been very short so far, I've seen everything I wanted to see. I saw the Bucks match and I saw the derby match. Like, am I missing something? Are there other Jeff Hardy matches that interest you at all?
I'm not sure actually. Just random pairings that's in AEW might be nice. Jeff and Kenny, Jeff and Jay White, Jeff and Commander, Jeff and anyone. Just anybody who's gonna make Jeff look better, and he can make it look better. I'll take it.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure though. It's no one I can really see. Like I want to see him against Jeff Hardy. I don't really have an appetite for Jeff Hardy right now. Sad to say.
Me neither. I know there's fans out there, like, you hear the reaction when he returned and everything, but just like, we've seen it before. We have seen it before.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess an FTR match down the line. I don't think we had that first time round, did we?
Hardy's FTR?
Yeah,
I'm not sure we had that. No, I'm not sure we had that at all. Yeah, we had the Bucks match. What else can we ask for? I mean, I'm not that crazy about Matt Hardy right now either. No. So yeah, it is what it is. They can manage a couple. I would hope Isaiah Cassidy more. I want to see Private Party actually be good, but one of them hurt, right? Private Party.
Mark Quinn's hurt.
Mark Quinn is hurt, right? He's been out for a while, right?
Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what they're doing with those guys. Just manage Isaiah Cassidy. Somebody just take the Hardys and let him manage Cassidy, man. Why not? He's great.
Yeah. We'll see. But we've got this. It'll feel like the pandemic again, getting a cinema match coming up.
How do you think a Cinemax match is going to do? A Cinematch is going to do in 2023 though? This will be the first one since, right?
Yeah, I think so. Have they said when this compound match is going to be?
No, I don't see any dates for it. Or
like, I'd imagine this would be on TV, wouldn't you? Or do like?
I don't think I'll put it on TV. I don't know.
You'd put it on the pay-per-view?
Or like ring.
Put it on Rampage, yeah.
Minutes commercial free, and this is going to be the match in the compound. I'll watch that.
Yeah, I mean, as it's a taped show, so it's not like you're having your audience come, like, you don't even need to show this to the arena, you know, like just have 2 matches taped after Dynamite for Rampage, and then this takes up the bulk of the show.
Nobody wants to sit in the arena and watch the screen.
No.
Hear that, WWE? Nobody.
Nobody. Any other AEW chat from this week? We had the Outcasts versus Jamie and Britt, which was actually probably one of the better matches this week on Dynamite.
Actually, besides the Commander Jay White match, I think that was the best match on the show. You know, that's just me. I'm not even that big of a fan of Britt Baker matches, so for me to say that's a big thing. But that was pretty good. I mean, the crowd really made that match everything, and I forgot how good Ruby Soho is.
Yeah, Ruby can be great. Jamie obviously is awesome right now. We're going to be getting into a bit of Wembley chat after this segment, so I'm sure we'll talk about Jamie Hayter a little there. But yeah, I did like this. I think Toni Storm is someone that I wasn't really high on. I'd been watching for quite a while from like pre-WWE, and I think she's someone who in ring has really stepped up since coming to AEW. I've quite enjoyed her stuff. I don't think Saraya is as awful as everyone makes out to be. She is still shaking off ring rust. She doesn't quite look like up there yet with your Jamies and your Tonys and Rubies, but I don't think she's horrendous either. And I think she has been sort of looking more confident. These tag matches have definitely helped. And it will be interesting when we see her have the kind of pressure of doing a singles again, where she looks compared to her Full Gear match. But I think, like, I haven't enjoyed this Saraya run, just coming in with the weird promos start with, where she was coming off as heelish, and then after turning heel, it's been very easy, just easy, lazy writing and delivery and everything. But we've got Wembley coming up, and I'm sure she's going to be a huge factor of that. And I hope she continues to improve and can have a big singles match that isn't people going, is this just happening because it's Paige? But I thought the women had a good showing this week on Dynamite.
Absolutely. I'm not that tough on Saraya either. She's doing the best what she's given, you know. So I'm not opposed to her just like sticking around and managing Ruby Soho and Toni Storm for a while either. I'm not so crazy about the name. The Outcast is a terrible name. You're not Outcast. You all chose to leave. So it's a little weird. The spray painting people is a little weird too. But we're getting there. They're getting better and better as heels.
Did Ruby got released, didn't she?
Ruby got released.
She's the only outcast. Yeah,
she's the only outcast. She's kind of like a reluctant heel, because at first she didn't even want to turn heel at first, you know. So it's like they bullied her into being heel. So I'm not that hard on those girls right now. They're doing their thing. They're doing their thing. They're the best female heels they have in the company right now. So I'll take it.
Do you think this is? I think we're going Anarchy in the Arena for BCC and sorry, who is it? The Elite. I imagine that's Anarchy in the Arena.
Well, half the Elite.
Yeah. Do you think we're getting any sort of one of these big faction matches for the Outcasts? Because it feels like we may be going that way.
You think we can get a female Blood and Guts?
I think that would be the move. Yeah.
You think so? Yeah, I mean, they want Britt Baker bleeding. I mean, what is Britt Baker if she's not bleeding? You know, everything she has is her bleeding. So female Blood and Guts would probably be the way to go.
Especially because once Double or Nothing's done, you're gonna start having to build up for Forbidden Door, and all of these guys, like BCC lads and the Elite lads, are surely gonna have big kind of like New Japan crossover matches, and therefore you should really end the feud at Double or Nothing, and don't have it pull over to Blood and Guts. Whereas the women, obviously, there's less options there for Forbidden Door. So yeah, I think you do Anarchy in the Arena for the men and Blood and Guts for the women.
Now, when it comes to Forbidden Door, are the Stardom ladies getting incorporated with the Forbidden Door? Can they walk through the door too?
I mean, you've got the New Japan kind of deal now. So like Mayu, as of today, is your IWGP Women's Champion. So you could definitely have Mayu Iwatani in a match at Forbidden Door. I would hope so. I think now we've got more of that agreement. I absolutely hope we get some of the female involvement. Mercedes being a big one, but maybe we can talk about that a little bit in the next segment. You did mention, we had the Elite BCC this week as well with Takeshita coming to the aid of the Elite. It's the old we've got Kota Ibushi at home thing. I love Takeshita, like don't get me wrong, but like everyone is like, oh, Kota, and it's Takeshita. But he's great, and I think this is absolutely the right move. Like, you are building this guy up. You've had the stuff with Don Callis going on. I'd love to see if you're gonna. So you've got what, 4-4 at the moment?
Yeah.
Like, so sorry, it's Hangman Kenny. Hangman Kenny, the Bucks, and Takeshita now.
Well, is Matt gonna be wrestling? Or is it just gonna be Nick?
He's been physical, hasn't he?
Yeah, I was scared of him doing those damn Northern Lights.
Yeah.
Wednesday, I was like, "What are you doing? You got a giant casting arm." But I'm not sure if he's gonna be ready by then. What do you think?
Also, if it is an Anarchy in the Arena, as like ridiculous as a match that is, it's probably going to be, you can do that in a way and protect yourself, I would think, over doing a classic
beat-em-up style match.
Yeah, you can just walk around Blade and punch each other in the face and walk around the arena. Yep. Like, so I think the fact he's been doing super kicks and stuff on TV, I'd imagine he's going to be involved. And therefore, I think it's more interesting for the BCC to get Kota Ibushi.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they're going to get Don Callis.
In the match?
No, he's just going to turn on Kenny.
Yeah, I could see that
and I think that'll be the more of the swerve. I don't see Kota Ibushi jumping in with the BCC at all, or maybe Daniel Bryan beats him down or something, but I don't see him mixing into this.
Ibushi's style works with BCC.
Absolutely.
And I think that means you can build more to your Kenny Kota match rather than having them do the tag, because at this point I don't want to see Kenny in any tags. Like, I'd rather see Kenny in singles. I don't know. I just think everyone is kind of expecting Kota to join these guys. I think it might be a little interesting to do it the other way round. Also, just his, like, with the DDT background, Anarchy in the Arena is perfect for Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, we need him doing a moonsault off of something.
Yeah. Anything else from AEW this week? You mentioned Jay White, Commander.
Yeah, I'm in love with Commander. Any match he's doing, I'm going to watch 3 times. It's pretty much.
So you watched this 3 times?
No. But I'm not hot on Juice Robinson at all.
No.
So Jay White on my screen, that means Juice Robinson is going to be on my screen, and for some reason, Sean Spears. I'm not sure how all this makes sense, but I'm willing to wait for it, I guess.
Yeah, like, they've completely fumbled the ball with Jay White, in my opinion. Like, both times he's been in the company.
Absolutely.
His original debut was backstage to lead to a match on Rampage, and that's when I think he was the IWGP champion. And then now just, it feels like, they're calling themselves Bullet Club Gold. Like, honestly, I went to the Impact show last week. Like, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, I take over these two at this point. This is how low down this Bullet Club feels to me. And it just feels like, hey, people know that name. Let's go with it. I mentioned it on the show the other week. I do kind of feel bad for Jay. I think it's all timing. I do think WWE would have been
went to WWE
if it was 6 months ago, but with this sale going through and everything, and it looks like they're on a bit of a hiring freeze. Maybe it just wasn't the time, and therefore you've already wrapped it up with New Japan. You've already done your stuff at Impact, and like, he's bigger than that.
Yeah,
but
him under the Triple H era Jay White would have been pretty damn good.
Yeah. You start off
Who knows? I mean, we still could have it.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a young guy. Like you can absolutely have that WWE run still. That's not saying that
he looks great
AEW
too.
for
Triple H's a big body guy, so Jay White he's looking even more jacked. He's looking more cut.
But it's whether like so far I'm not having faith in this run and whether his stock drops. You know, coming from New Japan, like immediately into WWE as a 2-time IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, like there's stuff you can do with that. But like 3 years from now, and it's Jay White who's maybe held the International Championship and he's had feuds with Ricky Starks and Shawn Spears. Is that as would WWE have their eyes? Is that as I'm trying to think of the word, appealing maybe?
Yeah,
maybe not.
That's a tough sell now. You know, after he loses to a couple orange punches, it's gonna be a tough sell at WWE.
Yeah, and I just feel like Shawn Spears, who we haven't seen, like I might have dreamt this, but I'm pretty sure he returned in Toronto. And then
I think that was the last time I seen him.
And then he disappeared again.
Giving the send off at the end of Rampage that night, remember?
Yeah.
That's the last time I seen him.
Yeah. And now he's in the front row doing like grading Jay White's performance. Weird. Good match. Like interesting clash of styles, I thought, Jay White and Commander. I'm just watching it going, what's going on? What is this?
Yeah, and we keep showing him in the crowd like he's getting called up to NXT. So it's like, what are we doing with Shawn Spears right now?
Shawn Spears on his 12th gimmick since coming.
Yeah, is he no longer the chairman? Is he Perfect 10 again?
I guess so. Yeah.
Jesus, he's not going to have that sweet entrance anymore then. So I'm not liking it.
So are they just moving on from the Ricky thing already, or I guess Ricky's partnering with Shawn Spears to go against these two idiots? Like, what's happening?
Jesus Christ, Ricky, if you're listening, call Cody.
Yeah.
See if Triple H will pick the phone up for you because you got to get out of there, dude. I'm not sure what they're doing with Ricky Starks at all, but he is too good for them to be doing this guy like that. And why is he not using the Stroke Daddy?
What's that?
You know, that was he was Stroke Daddy in the NWA.
Oh,
why is he not using that? Like that's, if anything is going to sell shirts, it's going to be Ricky Starks t-shirts with Stroke Daddy on it. I mean, like, why are you not using these things?
What's also a shame is you imagine Jay White's going to go over Ricky Starks, and you've just had Ricky beat Jericho twice. Like, Ricky should be moving on something bigger, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ricky should at least be having good matches with Orange for that international title, at least right now. But he's taking so many L's in between, he's not even credible to be in contention for those belts. So I'm not sure what they want to do with the guy. He's just did he lose to Jericho in the last few?
No, he swept him.
He swept Jericho, but now he has to work with Shawn Spears.
Yeah, and lose to Jay White and Juice Robinson.
It's really weird. Yeah, it's really weird. He's going to eat a Blade Runner and mean nothing in about 5 minutes. You know, so Ricky, you got to get out there, dude.
Well,
you got to.
I wanted to talk to you while you're here, as they have obviously announced this huge stadium show in August at Wembley Stadium. It's going to be AEW's biggest show to date. It's been reported that around 55,000 people so far have signed up for the pre-sale codes and stuff. Which this is a 90,000 seater, but 55. If they can do that, that's a great start. So, if you can be hitting I think 60 should be the goal. That's a huge success and will make the place look amazing. But just Braden and I have kind of talked about ideas of matches and stuff a little bit, but I wanted to know your thoughts. What would you book for this show?
It'd be a good time to get Kenny and Coda together.
Okay. Yep.
Championship wise, I'm not sure, because they can go so many directions with MJF as the champion. I don't think you guys, like you were saying on the last show, I don't think you guys want a crowd service. Just put this UK guy in there and, make everybody happy. I don't think you guys need that. I don't think you need that kind of level of pandering. So I'm not sure who could face MJF, but MJF versus anybody is going to blow the roof off the place. There's no roof on the place, so it's going to.
Retractable, semi-retractable.
Retractable,
yeah.
Great. Tag team, FTR Bucks could go again. Triple threat tag team could go. We can get Blackpool, FTR, and the Bucks together. Jade, do something. Saraya is definitely going to have her own. Saraya, whatever you want to call her, she's going to have her own match. Of course, that might be only like pandering to the hometown crowd. You get Saraya in a one-on-one match, but they put Pac on the poster, and he hasn't been on TV in months. So you
He has
think
his
he's going to
holidays, doesn't he?
slip in there? Yeah, is he going to slip in there?
Yeah, what could you put Pac in? I mean, you could do the trios, I guess, maybe. Like
Death Triangle.
Yeah.
How long is Phoenix gonna be? He's hurt, right?
Oh yeah, he is hurt, right? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know what you do with
he got an ankle.
Pac, really. You've already done I can't see him doing the orange feud
he's
again.
Almost
like
there.
That's kind of been done. Yeah, I'm interested because I mean Ospreay's been putting out in interviews, kind of hinting that obviously he wants to be on this show. I'm as much as I want to see it, I'm leaning further and further away from Kenny Ospreay on this show. I think Forbidden
Ospreay.
I don't know if you get Ospreay in a big singles match because this is a stadium show. He's not signed by AEW, and I think, as you mentioned earlier, morale. You're already maybe gonna lose some morale with Punk being back, and therefore, how would you feel if you were in this, being on this roster since day one? It's a big stadium show, and someone off roster is in the main event. Like I don't know. Yeah. So I feel maybe we're possibly maybe gonna get more likely like, I don't know, Aussie Open and Ospreay against House of Black for the trios. That would be awesome.
Yeah. That'll be like a ladder match too. It's got to be a big crash and burn match, and I'm thinking one of those tag belts or the trios belts are going to be a ladder, or some kind of anarchy. Something's going to go crazy in there. So it's going to be a lot of blood.
Yeah, I think you could do Jamie versus Saraya for the title. I think Jamie Hayter absolutely needs. She's your British champion right now. She should absolutely be featured.
Absolutely.
It's whether you've peaked to Brit versus Jamie at that point. So I feel maybe it's. I almost feel like you should have Saraya win the title before this event and have Jamie win it back in Wembley to get that big babyface win in Wembley Stadium, and then you can build then you have the jealousy angle with Brit, and that can lead you through to your I guess Full Gear coming up towards the end of the year.
I think Wembley should be we should be putting that at top priority and not like Full Gear or anything past that. So if you're gonna put all your cards on the table, you should do it for that, So however you're gonna, of course, do it there, and so you absolutely know that this is the heel and this is the face, because nobody's gonna boo Jamie. Nobody. She's gonna be so over, even if she has the belt or not. So you'll know who's the clear heel and face. So put them all on the table, put that on Wembley, and give Saraya something to do. I don't know if you want to bring out your women's tag belts at that time, bring them out then. I think the international belt has to be defended. Has to be. Who knows? The way things are going, you might get a Drew McIntyre on this. Who knows? So I'm not sure.
Do you do you see Mercedes being on this show?
She should be.
I mean,
she should be.
It would make sense, right? Like, you want your big names to be there, and therefore, maybe that could be the Saraya match. It was.
They better do it.
It was Mercedes who, injured Saraya and kind of retired her in WWE. So there's a story there to be told with Saraya's comeback and Mercedes. I think that's a match you could book non-title and then have Jamie and Britt. That would work. And what's Punk's match?
Punk. ROH Championship versus who has it right now?
Claudio.
I'll take Punk and Claudio.
Punk and Claudio.
In Wembley?
Yeah, I don't know if that does it for me. I hope.
Yeah, because I haven't been watching Claudio's reign at all, so I can't really say it. But Punk and Claudio, or I don't know.
I mean, it
I'm
could
not sure, man.
it could be the Jericho match, which is just so long because Jericho's got to wrap up with Adam Cole. I'd imagine Punk coming back just before Forbidden Door, probably setting up the Tanahashi match that we didn't get last year, I would think. And then Forbidden Door's over, and then you're doing the Jericho feud. So it's probably Jericho Punk, which is pretty big. Like if you're selling it to kind of, casual fans, people who are going because wrestling's in town and they see Jericho and Punk, you're pulling a face. I agree. Like it's not the match I want to see. It's not the match I want to see, but like I'm thinking of my friends who are checked out of wrestling who want to go to this thing, and they go, "What's the match?" "Oh, Chris Jericho versus CM Punk." "Oh, wow, that's huge."
True.
I just hope
Absolutely.
Punk and the Elite can, not saying be friends, but let's work together.
Yeah, let's make this money, man, because this show is going to be their biggest show. I don't care where you have All Out or All In. This is the biggest show right here.
Yeah.
This is it.
Absolutely.
Because they better do everything they're going to do, because in the next 2 or 3 years, Mania is going to be in Wembley. So
yeah,
you better do whatever you're going to do right now.
I'm gonna, because you've already brought it up, I'm gonna skip down a little because you mentioned Drew McIntyre, because we haven't seen him since WrestleMania. He's his Twitter's kind of gone blacked out or something right now.
He's blacked out everything. Yep.
So is this? I feel he's just pulling for a bigger contract and will stay in WWE. But yeah, what are the other scenarios?
AEW is the only other scenario I can see that's worth anything. I think it's the only fan base that be willing to accept him too. I mean, he's already got history with the Bucks and everybody else in that company, but I don't see him leaving WWE.
No,
I think he's at the point where he's trying to make his contracts as big as possible. He's already got back problems. He's not getting any younger, and he's treated like a king in WWE. They did a whole pay-per-view for that guy, Clash the Castle. So I wouldn't leave.
No.
I don't think he's leaving, but stay out, hold out to get that money, brother.
I can
work him.
I can see in a year's time or whatever, Drew in an interview being like, "Oh yeah, there was never any consideration to leave." I see him very much in that kind of Sheamus, Kevin and Sami role, where it's like, "Hey, I'm treated well here. I'm regularly featured. I've got a good paycheck. I'm probably here for life at this point." I don't see him being a huge deal in AEW either. Like, I see him being featured, but I see him being like a shiny toy who quickly wears out. He'll probably be feuding with Wardlow and Hobbs over the TNT title and hold that. He'll probably
big guy slot,
maybe have a challenge for the title. I don't see him being an AEW champion. I don't really see him fitting in, and I don't, even with 2 shows, I don't see there being enough time for him. And it would really be just bringing him in to have something on this Wembley show. So I don't really see it being much of a story, because I do see him being with WWE, but might be wrong.
Yeah, you think after he's given some of the best matches of 2022 in WWE, he's not leaving that place. They're gonna work that contract out pretty soon. He'll be back on TV with a sword in his hand.
Yeah,
trust me. he's not going anywhere, dude. If it wasn't for Drew, I don't think I'd be a Sheamus fan right now. Because before Drew got back in the company, Sheamus, nobody was checking for Sheamus every week.
No.
Now I want to see every Sheamus match that week because he's going to beat the brakes off somebody.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, and so that triple threat match they had at Mania saved night 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's give him a blank check. Whatever you got to do, Trips. Make sure you keep Drew there. I'm not saying that he won't flourish anywhere else or he couldn't do good in New Japan or anywhere else, but WWE is where it's at for Drew.
I mean, I think it'll be interesting on Friday and Monday with the draft. That will be telling. Like if he's drafted or not. If they don't bring up his name at all and he's not moved anywhere, then I think alarm bells might be ringing. But if we see Drew's being drafted to Raw on Friday or whatever, you'll be like, oh, okay, he's sticking around.
Yeah. I think he'll be drafted, or if not, he'll be drafted online. You know how they do. I'm not sure if they're going to do that this year, but Drew will be picked up somehow, some way. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead. What you gonna say?
No. That's it. I don't have any more thoughts.
I'm still curious on how they're going to do the draft since we don't have GMs, but that's just how I'm thinking about it. But
true, you'll have the boardroom of Fox and USA, won't you? Again,
can we get the robot back?
Yeah, and the robot, exactly.
The robot's just going to be so Ruka, right?
Yeah. Always. Any costume, it's Sol Ruka.
Any costume called Sol, she's got it.
Yeah. Well, there was something that came out this week. I was listening to Post, and they brought up that sorry, I'm trying to get this guy's name. Jim Miller said that Warner Brothers Discovery, he'd be surprised if Warner Brothers Discovery weren't interested in WWE content if they lose the NBA. Fightful then reported yesterday that this hasn't been the case, and that several WWE higher-ups had inquired as to whether or not that's something people within the industry have heard, and basically saying it's not been heard whatsoever, and Warner Brothers Discovery are putting a lot of stock into their relationship with AEW, as we're seeing with the expansion with All Access and Collision. I listened to that clip, and this guy sounded like one of those guys who, you know, when you say, like, oh, I podcast about wrestling. What, like WWE? That's what I heard from this guy. Because when he's questioned about AEW, he's like, oh, yeah. I mean, I guess we can. He sounded a little clueless from my perspective.
I know what clip he had no idea what they were talking about.
Yeah, he thinks all wrestling is WWE, and therefore, did mention about he thinks Nick Khan wouldn't be opposed to moving Raw to another night. I kind of go back to my point earlier. There's something on TV every fucking night of the week. I don't see why there's a point in changing it. Raw on a Monday is so established at this point. Sure, if it can make you more money, if it's going on a different network, like move NXT to a Monday and Raw to a Tuesday, but it's 2023. We can record stuff as well. Like,
no, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw is very much a part of my life. So you can't train me on anything else, you know? Like, my mom even knows what I'm doing at 8 o'clock on a Monday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it'd be pointless. No, I don't think WWE should do any changes. I don't think they should go to Netflix. I don't think they should go to Disney. They need to stay right on basic cable like they've been my entire life, because everybody knows where to find it. And once you start moving things around, nobody knows.
Exactly. And it's still like, unless there's sport on or whatever, it's still like the highest rated show in that slot.
Even when there's sports on. Monday Night Football can be on and Raw still do 1 million.
Yeah.
Raw is it's like stapled at 1 million. It doesn't go anywhere. Like, it's also SmackDown, because like you can walk into a bar here in the States, and most bars, like in Detroit, I'm not sure about everywhere else, but our news channels are 2, 4, and 7. Fox is 2. So if the bar is playing the news at 6, they're going to leave the Fox on, and you're going to be watching SmackDown at the bar.
Yeah.
You know, so that's damn near every place you can walk into on a Friday night. You can't mess with those things, dude. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's just uniform to everything and how we live life now. So just don't go, oh, we're going to put it on Disney Plus. I'm not going to watch it.
Also, I think Raw, especially with its length, lends itself to channel hopping a little. You know, it's like, oh, I want to see what the Monday Night Football score is. Okay, it's a bit of a blowout right now. I'll put it back to Raw. Oh, I'll just catch the end of the... Oh, they've come back. I'll catch the end of the game. Okay, I'll put it back onto Raw.
Yeah, that's how I watch sports in April, because it's the NBA playoffs right now. So I'm flipping back and forth. Even when the NFL is on, I'm flipping back and forth. So it's impossible for you to do that when you got a streaming service loaded up and you got regular TV loaded up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I think it's probably sticking where it is. I can't see
Yeah, I don't think
USA wanting to let go of Raw. But let's talk a little bit about WWE and Raw. We had kind of the first real interaction between the Bloodline and Judgment Day, a momentary alliance between the two factions. Pretty cool seeing like Rhea Ripley just stand up to Solo Sikoa, like the two heavies of the
two
team.
enforcers.
Yeah, but I mean, I think this could be like a little early tease, and down the line, I feel they might have had these two kind of do this because the draft's coming up. I see them being separated, but has my interest for potentially War Games come November. I think it's something you do the early tease now and you can heat it up. Or I also was thinking the other day, you don't necessarily have to do War Games at Survivor Series.
No,
you know?
they shouldn't. I don't think they should start doing that uniform. If we do this on this month type of thing.
Exactly.
No.
So, but yeah, just the visual of these two teams looking together, I was seeing a lot of people compared to the corporate ministry, which like tickled me.
They will, you know. It's true.
But yeah, like I think both Bloodline and Judgment Day have had such a huge come around since its inception, and I think Priest has been excellent the last few weeks, and
yeah, he's been
going
great.
into this big.
Could you imagine Edge still running the Judgment Day?
Not at all. No.
Not even, right?
Who Edge we haven't seen since Mania, have we?
No, yeah, I don't think he's gonna show up anytime soon either.
Okay.
At least till after this backlash cycle.
Yeah. But what did you make of this segment, and kind of how excited are you for Backlash and that the potential
I dug
tag?
it, man. I like the unspoken agreement that Paul Heyman knew and no one else that they're going to join forces. But yeah, I like I'm really digging the Judgment Day, and it's not just because like Gangsta Dom and Mommy, but I'm really digging like Finn being the underboss, and you know, Priest is the enforcer, and this is going to be really crazy in Puerto Rico. You got all of these like basically local talent coming together to come have this match. This is going to be crazy epic. The crowd is going to be super duper hot. You can damn near headline with that match, you know?
I think they will headline with this match.
Yeah, you should put Bad Bunny in the main.
Yeah, what I like, as you said, and they've done the same with the Bloodline, is everyone's got their very distinct character. We've seen factions in the past where they're just like, it's just more of a numbers game rather than different personalities. I think it has elevated all of them. And I like the kind of, I like that they're a little bit goofy as well. They're not like Dark Order level, but they're more of a Kurt Angle, you know, can be very funny, but then when they need to turn it on and be a badass, they can be. So I've been entertained by them. I think it's absolutely working, and it did sort of wet my whistle a little. I'm like, oh, okay, that's some sort of faction warfare I'd like to see down the line.
Yeah, at least Finn has something to do. I'm all for Finn having something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, before we get away from SmackDown, I want to give a shout out to Xavier Woods, man. He is really good. Like I would love to see Xavier like with a real singles push, like because him and Gunther Friday night was great.
Yeah,
like really, really good. But I knew he wasn't going to beat Gunther. Let's put Woods out there and let's maybe give him like a small push toward the IC again. Like let's build him up toward the IC, or build him or draft him to Raw and build him up toward United States and get him that Consequence Creed gear again. Who knows? But I want Xavier Woods to be doing something. Shout out that man. I love his YouTube channel as well. Up Down Down is great. He's inspired me to do my own 2K draft with my cousin. So man, keep putting on good matches. He was undefeated solo until he just lost to Gunther.
Wow.
Since like last summer or some shit.
Damn,
like
okay.
I think since Kofi got hurt. He was undefeated in the ring.
I think Woods is fantastic, and now you kind of want to complete the trilogy, don't you? You've had Kofi win the title, you've had Big E win the title. You want that Woods moment at some point. It's difficult right now with how prestigious that title is at this point. But he he had the King of the Ring, but yeah, I'm with you. I'd love to see him get his moment at some point.
I was proud. That was his dream, to be King of the Ring.
Yeah.
He said since he was a kid, he wanted to be King of the Ring. So at least he's got that accomplished. But I can see him, potentially him in theory having great matches too. So let's build him up for that United States. But like I said, get him that Consequences gear back. Get the fro back out, baby. Let's go, Creed.
We had Trish Stratus' first heel promo in about 18 years, something like that.
Oh Jesus! It was great.
Trish coming out, rocking the black trench coat and cowboy hat. Brock was like, "I see what you're doing there. I like that." And
Twinsies,
did the same. Who wore it better? But yeah, what did you make of this? Trish kind of back in this heel role, just out there on her own, explaining her actions, etc.
I liked it. It was different. I didn't see Trish turning. You know, everybody's expecting Becky to turn on Trish, but I did not see that coming at all. But I can dig her, and I can dig Becky and Trish. You know, I think Bex has like no other competition right now. Like nobody's at the level that they can like stand in front of Becky as a heel and like be credible. So you had to reach down and get Trish out of there. So I'm digging it. Plus, the costume department has to like the up their trench coat cowboy hat piece because her and Brock are just gonna wear them all. But yeah, I really liked it though. I really liked it.
Yeah, I thought she sounded good. She kind of warmed up into it. She seemed a little nervous at first and then got a bit more confident. And yet you're right. It's kind of what we said earlier about just like such a divide between the tiers of women, where Becky, if you're not going to have her challenged for a title, I mean, I think Becky Rhea down the line is something obviously you can do, which would be pretty big. But if she's not in the title picture at the moment, how are you going to keep her busy? So bringing back a Trish Stratus makes sense. I do think Trish is, at this point, more solid in the ring than Lita. So I think they could have a pretty good match. I listened to her on After Bell with Corey Graves just before recording this, and was kind of I quite enjoyed how she was sort of, you know, skirting the real life and kayfabe thing, and just driving, kind of solidifying her promo, saying, look, like women's wrestling was nothing. I was the one who was going, hey, I want to train with the boys. I was the one who was like, I want to punch someone in the face rather than pull their hair, and goes into how like the women would be kept on being told, like, no, the fans want to see you do that like cat fighting thing. They want that. And apparently it was at live shows where Fit Finlay would, you know, produce most of the women's matches, where he was just like, just do it. Just if you want to punch someone in the face, punch it. And she said it really stepped up once Victoria came into the company as well and was advocating for Victoria to join the Hall of Fame. She said like, I love Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler, but this is a wrestling company, and essentially the fact that they're in the Hall of Fame and Victoria is not is a massive oversight. So I liked it. I found it a pretty interesting interview, and she sounded pretty motivated as well. So she's someone who it seems to be willing to come back as long as, you know, what's the creative, what's the plan, does this look like something I can get my teeth into? And she said the little interaction with her and Becky in, I think, Toronto last year made her be like, oh, this is something that could work. So I'm actually quite excited to see. Like, Trish is one of my... She was the first... She said the line of your childhood fantasy, like Trish Stratus was the first poster of a woman I had on my wall at home. I'm first to admit that. So, like, yeah, let's go. And she still looks fantastic.
Yeah, I can dig it. I completely agree with her when she says that Victoria should be in the Hall.
Yeah.
Because you remember, we were watching wrestling at the same time as kids, but it was a difference when Victoria came in, you know, because it's like, oh no, she's here to wrestle. She's not here to pull hair and have a bra and panties match, even though she had to do business, but she was ready to throw them around out there. And like, of course, she needs to be in the Hall. It's a couple more ladies who need to be in the Hall that actually tried to put on good matches, and they need their respect. But yeah, Victoria and Gail Kim should be in the Hall of Fame.
Gail Kim isn't either. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's in the Impact Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
but she needs to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. If not, because she didn't have a big of a run as she did in Impact, but when she was in WWE, it was like I said, it was like, okay, this is one of the ladies who are here to put on a good match. She's not here to just strip off her shirt. She's not HLA. She's not bra and panties mud matches, stuff like that. She's here to put on a good match.
And you also have to think, even if it's not what they've done in WWE, but how they have influenced other women who are killing it now, like the impact they've had on the business. Like those two 100% should be in there. Just
Jazz as well.
Yeah. You mentioned about like mud wrestling and bra and panties and things. It's something Trish said. Like she was trying to do more wrestling matches, and then you're in a gravy bowl match, and so she was like, okay, well, how can we kill this as much as possible? And it's like, fucking throw me off the stage into it. And so like I'd love to see like prime Trish in like today's era, to see like how much further she could have gone. And obviously you're always like better opponents are always going to improve you as well. But I think Becky Trish, it does kind of have my interest. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think Trish has been waiting to get in the ring with people who actually want to, put on these type of matches that she's always wanted to do her whole career. So this is probably a dream come true for Trish right now. But I just, like you said, I wish we can get prime Trish in there and prime Lita in there. And man, those women could have put on some great matches.
So Trish and Becky has our interest. Does Seth versus Omos have your interest?
The greatest wrestler in WWE, Omos. That's my interest. You know what? I'm not as tough on Omos as everybody else. You got to think, dude. He's a giant who got tossed in the fire.
Yeah.
You don't usually do your big guys like that. You protect them as much as possible. He got tossed in the fire. He was just a funny guy at the door at Raw Underground for like a couple weeks, and then he kind of maneuvered his way into getting in the ring, but he's a naturally hilarious guy. So it's tough for me to take him as like this big monster because he's so funny when he's not like on screen and stuff. But it's like, I'm not sure, man. I can't help but love Omos. So Seth is going to make him look like $1 million. So I can't wait for this match.
I would say as well, though, like tossed in the fire, he joined WWE in January 2019. He was training for 18 months before he made it to Raw and was with AJ. He was protected. He was in AJ's corner for a long time before doing like these singles matches and stuff. So I don't know. I think obviously a guy that size, like he's so big. Like we're used to seeing giants in wrestling, but this guy is something else. Like there's going to be limitations to it. And I did kind of actually get into the Brock match this year.
Right?
Yeah, just like weird because they've announced this and it's been like it. I thought it was that. Do you follow that Twitter, which is just like match generator? It's like a random match generator every day. I honestly thought that's what it was because why? Why is this match happening?
Out of nowhere, yeah. I have no idea why it's happening, and I didn't really watch the full SmackDown to even know why they announced it.
I think they just threw up the graphic, did they not?
They had to. Did Seth just want a match? He said, hey, just put me in a match? I'm not sure how this happened.
They're both Raw guys, so we haven't even seen why this is happening yet.
They had no interaction between each other.
No.
So, I don't know, dude. Like I said, Seth's going to make him look great.
Yeah.
It's nobody Seth can have a bad match with. Seth is one of the greats in the ring right now. So
yeah. I did see a rumor, and that could possibly explain why this is happening. Because Seth is like maybe you're like 1B in the company potentially, or 1C maybe behind behind Cody. I saw that potentially Omos Roman at Night of Champions.
Ugh. Don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
But if that is what they're doing, maybe that's why you're going to have Omos go over Seth.
Nobody wants that, though. Nobody wants Omos and Roman at all.
No.
Two heels.
Yeah, it
Nobody's going to get
doesn't
behind
sound
Omos as
attractive
a
at
face
all.
either.
No.
Yeah. Who's going to take 7'2" Omos as a baby face?
I mean, it would be Roman de facto babyface in that, wouldn't it? Because he's just
Yeah,
cooler
but
and more over. But bizarre.
MVP is good, but I don't think he can sell Omos and Roman. MVP, I'd just like to see MVP versus Paul Heyman in a promo battle.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the whole
Yeah.
thing. That's the whole feud.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm interested. Seth is, if not your best wrestler on the roster. I am curious what he can get out of an Omos, but this just, it sounds absolutely bizarre, but...
Seth's going to make him look great.
Yeah.
You better believe that.
Omos' best match
Seth's
ever.
going to take everything that Omos gives him. Omos is going to be the best base you've ever seen in your life because he's the biggest base you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, he's going to actually hit a Phoenix Splash this time on Omos because he never lands it. So it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. I am weirdly curious. Maybe not for the right reasons, but I am.
Puerto Rico's going to be singing Seth's theme the entire time. So
yeah,
what else can we act?
They'll have fun. And then we do have Night of Champions coming up after Backlash in Saudi Arabia. This was originally going to be King and Queen of the Ring, but they changed the name. And then on Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave wrote that regarding the reason the show in Saudi Arabia was changed from King and Queen of the Ring to Night of Champions was a booking decision. We were told it will become obvious why after the Puerto Rico show and in the build to the show. What do you make of that?
I don't know about that. I don't think they wanted to crown any kings in Saudi Arabia, but I don't know about that. What can you see possibly that can turn into Night of the Champions? Because Night of the Champions essentially everybody's defending their belts.
Everyone's defending their belts is the idea.
What can possibly happen?
Makes me maybe think, unfortunately, because I don't like this idea, but Roman defending both his titles separately.
Well, that'd be a way to split the belts.
It will. I don't want them to split the belts.
I want them to unify them.
Yeah, I mean they essentially are unified, but you want like a brand new belt, like a.
I want a brand new belt. I'm kind of sick of the blue belt. Yeah. I don't think it looks good at all. I don't like colored straps that's that bright. No. You know what I'm saying? So either we get a new belt. Maybe Triple H wants to design new belts under his reign because
there were talks that Triple H had approved of a new title, which would make you think maybe it's a unified one. And I can imagine it maybe having a bit more classic look if it's with Triple H's decision.
I mean, the company is so it could be time to rebrand all the belts. You know, I mean, we got pretty much all new belts besides those.
Yeah. You
know, every belt looks pretty good besides the main
ones.
So,
yeah.
The Intercontinental grew on me. The United States belt is beautiful to me. Everything else is pretty good, but that main title, the UK belt looks better than the main title. I agree. I do kind of think the way that's kind of worded though, and going with the Night of Champions. I mean, we saw it before with, what was it? Seth Rollins defended his titles back to back, didn't he? A few years ago against Sting and Cena. I think this title has never meant more as it's been unified and been together. And I think it's when you eventually have that guy beat Roman, it should mean something, and it should be taking both those straps off of him. And that's when you can have the new championship moving forward. Just splitting them, it makes it's like, you know, remember when people would leave NXT as champions, so they just vacate the title, and you're like, well, that's just kind of like lazy, and I just don't think it would mean as much. But I do, from the wording of saying like there's a big booking reason why it's gonna be Night of Champions with a draft coming up, I can see them maybe wanting to go back to trying to do the defined split rosters with the champion both sides. I don't think you need to. As you said earlier, you can main event with the IC title at this point because that title means something. You can put You know what? Now that I think about it, you would have to make new tag belts too.
Tag belts, yeah.
Yeah, you would have to make new tag belts
Yeah.
because and it's not enough tag teams to go around between two rosters. So
No.
I hope in this draft we like get that clarified that hey, the champions are going to be going both, and that's how it always should be.
Yeah. You had that Raw after Mania. You had the like segment between Rhea and Bianca. Like unify that as well. And that way, if you're trying to appease your USAs and your Foxes, that means you have, well, at the moment we can have Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and let's say Rhea Ripley. They're like your big stars. They're on both brands whilst they're champions. That's a good core of people.
Maybe that's the thing, Davie. Maybe they're going to announce that these belts are unifying. And we're going to have, maybe that's the big announcement.
Oh.
Because then that's, like I said, that's 4 new belts. So you only got 3 tag teams on each show right now. So it's no reason to even have the split between them both. So 1 belt for the entire brand. Bam. That could be, but it's all speculation.
So do you think doing Rhea and Bianca at Night of Champions?
That would make more sense.
Yeah.
And it's a Saudi Arabia show. Unifying all these belts at Night of Champions could work.
So would you go as far as the IC and US?
No.
You'd keep them brand specific, and then you've got women's tag and Universal going across too. I love that idea. Like,
yeah, it's what
that's way better to me.
We don't have any other like side belt. We don't have 24/7 nonsense. We don't have cruiserweight nonsense anymore. So those 2 belts, the US and the Intercontinental, should stay, on each brand and prospective brand, and everything else should be unified.
It's cleaner. It's way cleaner, and that means those weeks you don't have your champion appearing on a SmackDown. You have Gunther in the main event defending the IC title. You have
even at some pay-per-views,
whoever. No, I love that idea, and like I'd be way more for that than splitting these things.
Absolutely.
Well, that's it. I think for WWE talk this week, I managed to catch it right before the beginning of this show, the Mercedes Moné versus Mayu Iwatani match. From Stardom. What is it? I can't remember the name of this show. World of Stardom, Super Stardom Grand Prix. It wasn't a Grand Prix. All-Star Grand Queendom. There we go. That's the one. Mercedes and Mayu had a pretty good match. Got to check it out right before this. Kind of felt it could have still gone up a bit of a gear. But Mercedes dropping the title here to Mayu Iwatani. But saying that she isn't done. She's been pretty adamant that no, I'm still in New Japan. She's going to be on the Resurgence event in California. But yeah, sticking around, but without the title, which I found quite an interesting decision.
That might be an easy way to tie in AEW.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the holdout. If she's sticking around and it's not to like do an AEW match or 2, if she doesn't pop up in AEW, she's going back to WWE immediately.
Yeah.
But if she does, I mean, she still could pop up in WWE. But Forbidden Door seems like the way she's headed. I didn't see the match with her and Mayu. I did see her gear. She looked amazing.
She looked great.
She always does.
The whole Tiger Mask Eddie tribute for the entrance. Yeah, she looked incredible.
Amazing. Isn't her fiance or husband like a costume designer?
He is, yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
He made her look like
gears
$1 million
always looked awesome
all the time. And this gear, I think, is like one of the gears of the year for me. I trust me, if you know Davie, I'm really big on how these people look when they come to the ring.
Yep.
And she crushed it today. She crushed it.
No, I agree. I thought she looked fantastic. I think you might be right. Like taking the title off her might be a way politically to be able to do some other matches. Julia also dropped her title on this show, which Julia Mercedes Moné is a match I absolutely want to see. And maybe, yeah, having the titles off of both of them, it makes it a little easier to book, possibly. Whether that's gonna, I can't see. I don't think they've announced her opponent for Resurgence yet, but I'm hoping. I want to see the Julia match, and I want to see the Suri match with Mercedes before she finishes her gap year. And yeah, doing a big match at Wembley or Forbidden Door. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Forbidden Door may be more likely. I just think that the name value of Mercedes Moné being in Wembley would definitely help that show.
Absolutely. Any kind of star power toward the AEW women's roster is very much needed. So yeah, I would love to see Mercedes in Forbidden Door. It's the only reason she should stick around New Japan.
And I think just doing these sort of ticking off the dream matches and then going home is kind of what I want to see, because I don't see her really. It sounds bad, and it is being critical of the women's division, but beyond doing the Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter match in AEW, I don't really have interest in seeing her against anyone else there.
No, Britt, Jamie, Saraya. Maybe Jade. Other than that, she can go back to WWE.
Yeah.
Because the other horsewomen are doing just fine.
Yeah.
Besides Charlotte. But yeah, she can definitely go back. It's nothing else to do in AEW. I mean, I don't want to see her like pigeonholed to 9:30 on AEW.
Yeah.
So yeah, she can go over there and have those pinpoint matches and take herself back. Mercedes can pretty much go on a world tour the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it can end in Mania next year.
I think she said she's living in Japan now. She's like she said she's awesome. Like committed to it, and she's got her own apartment there, and she's learning Japanese. So she does seem to be committed to New Japan at this point. But we all know wrestlers say things as well.
Yeah, I mean, apartments aren't that expensive in Japan. I've done the research.
Right.
She can
okay.
definitely afford it. So yeah, it wasn't much for her to pack up and move to Japan for a while. I think she's enjoying the training over there. From what I've seen, she is hitting a little harder, which I always enjoy the women that hit hard.
Yeah, me too.
That's kind of one of my thing with AEW women. They don't hit hard. So Mercedes over in Japan, she's really laying it in, and that's how it's supposed to be. If you want to open some eyes with women's wrestling, start punching them in the mouth. Ladies, pop them in the mouth. And, because these Stardom girls, you're not going to see anything like this.
No.
I'm not even that big of a Stardom fan, but when I do catch a match or two, I'm always impressed. So any mixture of these women coming over here or doing Forbidden Door, I'm going to be all in for.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up as well, you mentioned gear. Did you see Kairi's gear at this show?
No, I didn't.
She looked, I'm trying to find the photo to send you, but her entrance, she looked awesome. And new Trios champion, Kairi Sane.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so maybe that's something we could see. Like a Trios, like Stardom v AEW Trios match could be fun. You could do
the Outcast versus the Stardom Trios champions.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah,
for Forbidden Door.
That'd be
absolutely.
Good, how do you get Mercedes in that?
Well, Mercedes would have the singles match. You do Mercedes,
Jamie Hayter, right?
Mercedes, Jamie Hayter at Forbidden Door, and then the trios. I think that would be good.
That'd be nice. I want to see because I know she would love that too. I would love to see Athena mix it up with some of these Stardom girls too. She's the forgotten champion.
She is, because she's lost in ROH right now. Yeah,
exactly. So I know she would love to do some matches with those Stardom ladies. So please, Tony Khan.
She's someone who lays it in thick as well. She's you say about throwing punches. She ain't afraid to throw a punch. So yeah, her mixing up with them would be pretty good. Yeah, especially as an ROH champ, like she can defend against someone. Well, that brings it to the end of everything I've thought we could talk about this week. I don't know if you've got anything else you wanted to bring up that you're aware of in the world of wrestling.
No. I think we touched every corner that we could this week. It was a kind of a slow week in wrestling and news. So, I think we got everything took care of.
Ted DiBiase Jr. was a naughty boy, apparently taking money from charities to buy boats and cars. So
he was trying to fuck on them.
Yeah.
Great.
So fuck
Great,
that guy.
Ted.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like
great,
father,
Ted.
like son. But
yeah, he's just the class act, isn't he?
yeah,
Real Brett Favre, isn't he?
yeah.
Let's.
Apart from that, I think that wraps it up for this week's episode of Poisonrana. B, thank you very much for joining me. Where can we find you? What have you got? We've already plugged Wattup Doe, but give it one last plug before we say goodbye.
Please tune in to Wattup Doe next week. If you want to hear me and John Cena do better than the WWE with their own draft, with their own roster, because we're gonna book way better. And you can catch me on Instagram, Cool Game McB. You can catch me on Facebook at the Brian Tannehill, and you can definitely drop me a line in the Poisonrana group, and I'll get back with you. Any questions, or we're going to be dropping a feedback feed for Wattup Doe I think this week sometime. So if you got any questions for Wattup Doe, you can drop them in there for me or Sino. My podcast, Detroit Players Podcast, that I record, it's been on a little hiatus, but we're coming back. It's really, really rude podcast. Don't listen to it with your kids in the car. Other than that, hopefully I get to see some of you listeners at Forbidden Door or here in SummerSlam.
Hell yeah.
Down in Fort Field. So if you're going to be going to Fort Field for SummerSlam, or you're going to be going to Forbidden Door, if I make the trip up for Forbidden Door, I hope to see everybody. Always have a good time with you guys. Once again, thank you, Davie, for having me up last year for Rampage and Dynamite. That was one of the best trips. I've never
Rampage,
been to Toronto.
B. You came for Dynamite. We don't mention Rampage.
Look, we were really, really drunk at Rampage.
Yeah,
so
we were. I love the Aneo happy hour, those tequilas. Those
yeah. I definitely want to. I've been telling people about Aneo and that place, the butcher shop we got the sandwich from.
Oh, Cumbraes, don't. I'm getting hungry. It's the best.
Cumbraes in Toronto, one of the best sandwiches.
Absolutely, honestly, check it out. It's worth every cent. It's my life changing, that sandwich.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't wait to do more karaoke with you guys this summer, man. Always have a great time with you guys. So yeah, if you want to, like I said, if you want to drop me a line on the Facebook page for Wattup Doe, you can do that.
Yep, everyone sign up to the Facebook group. Just search for Poisonrana. You'll see the frog. Give it a little follow. We'll keep you updated with feedback threads and shows we have coming out. If you don't use Facebook and Twitter or Instagram is your thing, you can follow us at Poisonrana Pod. Join us every Tuesday as we talk about NXT on upNXT on the Post Wrestling feed. And you can follow me at Davie Portman. But that brings us to an end today. Happy Sunday, everyone, or Monday if you're listening to then, or 3 years from now, whatever. Have a great life, guys. Take care. Be safe. Ahoy!
Poisonrana.